Iconic moments when famous Hollywood stars took a stand against woke culture.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
In an industry often dominated by political correctness and social narratives, there's a growing number of stars refusing to stay silent.
What's my go-to condiment?
Oh, I know what you love.
What?
Raw onions?
62% of Americans say they have political views they are afraid to share.
Yeah, everybody hates it, and no one stands up to it. Because it's always the safe thing to swallow what you really think and just join the mob.
In this video, you will see the fearless Hollywood A-listers who dared to speak their truth and stand by their beliefs no matter what the outcome. Let's kick things off with Kanye West, an American producer, rapper who sets the record of the world's best-selling music artists with 160 million records sold. West has won 24 Grammy Awards. He is famous for speaking his mind, especially when it comes to criticizing the entertainment industry. He's often pointed out how Hollywood uses fear to control people, saying, "Fear is the ultimate tool of control." Hollywood uses fear to keep people in line.
Everybody think they so woke, but they following the rules of what woke's supposed to be. We're not even speaking in our own language,
Kanye
bro.
doesn't just talk about it. His actions back up his words. From his bold music to his fashion brand, Yeezy, Kanye constantly pushes against the norms that Hollywood cherishes. One of his most infamous moments came during a 2018 interview with TMZ when he declared,
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
The statement caused widespread outrage, sparking debates across social media.
400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real.
Around the same time, he tweeted, and his tweet went viral, gained over 10,000 retweets, more than 50,000 likes, where he said, "The reason why I brought up the 400 years point is because we can't mentally imprison for another 400 years. We need free thought now." Even the statement was an example of free thought. It was just an idea, which became a viral topic, sparking debates across social media. But Kanye stood firm, explaining that he was fighting against mental conformity and Hollywood's suppression of free thought.
And I took the tweets down and everything?
Yeah.
Because I was drugged the fuck out, bro. I was drugged out. I was on opioids. 2 days I got off of opioids, I'm in the hospital.
Later that year, Kanye stirred the pot even further by wearing a MAGA hat during an appearance on Saturday Night Live. He defended his controversial choice, saying,
"They bullied me backstage. They said, don't go out there with that hat on."
The moment divided fans and caused many in Hollywood to distance themselves from him. From Justin Bieber to BTS, Rihanna, Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj, and many. But Kanye argued it was about his right to think independently. Kanye's defiance isn't limited to Hollywood. In 2020, he took on the music industry by publicly tweeting his Universal Music Group contracts. Comparing the industry's control to slavery, he boldly declared, "I need to see everybody's contracts at Universal and Sony. I am not going to watch my people be enslaved. I'm putting my life on the line for my people. The music industry and the NBA are modern-day slave ships. I am the new Moses." These tweets shook the entertainment world, inspiring artists to reevaluate their own contracts and creative freedom. And most recently, Kanye caused a storm by wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt during Paris Fashion Week and criticizing the Black Lives Matter movement as a scam. His actions trended globally, sparking heated debates and mixed reactions. Fans praised his courage, while critics accused him of being out of touch. With more than 35 million Twitter followers, Kanye has become a major figure in the public debate about cancel culture, free speech, and the power structures in Hollywood. Whether people agree with him or not, his message has sparked conversations that extend far beyond the glittering world of entertainment. The next star on our list of Hollywood figures who've stood up to woke culture is Joe Rogan. Now, Joe might not be your typical Hollywood actor, but he's one of the most influential voices in media today, and his story is a big one. Whether you know him as a
prized UFC conversation. He's the host of the largest podcast on planet Earth, The Joe Rogan Experience,
or just someone who's never afraid to speak his mind, Rogan has gone head-to-head with woke culture and come out stronger. So, what's Joe's take on woke culture? In his words, it's killing real conversations. He's made it clear on the Joe Rogan Experience that the constant fear of offending people shuts down important discussions. And if there's one thing Rogan doesn't do, it's stay quiet about what he believes in. But standing up to woke culture hasn't been easy. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Rogan sparked major backlash for having guests on his podcast who questioned mainstream ideas about vaccines and treatments.
I don't think it's true that there's an increased risk of myocarditis from people catching COVID that are young versus increased risk of myocarditis from the vaccine.
No, there is. There's both.
Well, let's look that up because I don't think that's true. 12 to 17 more likely to develop myocarditis within 3 months of catching COVID at a rate of 450 cases per million infection. This compares to 67 cases of myocarditis per million at the same time following their second dose of Pfizer.
Yeah, so you're about 8 times likelier to get myocarditis from getting COVID than from getting the vaccine.
That's interesting.
Now,
that is not what I've read before.
Critics accused him of spreading misinformation. Spotify, the home of his podcast, added warnings to certain episodes, but Rogan didn't back down. He defended the need for open conversations, even when they're controversial. Then came the firestorm over some old podcast episodes. A viral video showed Rogan using racial slurs, like N-word many times.
You've already said is just like saying she's calling you like this boy that
and it caused a massive uproar. Rogan apologized, admitting it was wrong to use that language, but he also explained that the clips were taken out of context.
My sincere and humble apologies. I wish there was more that I could say, but all of this is just me talking from the bottom of my heart. It makes me sick watching that video. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of me of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me.
Spotify CEO said that we should have clear lines around content and take action when they are crossed. But canceling voices is a slippery slope. And later, Spotify removed over 100 episodes, but they didn't cancel him. Why? Because Rogan's audience is massive, loyal, and loves his raw honesty. And let's not forget the music drama. Artists like Neil Young and Joni Mitchell pulled their music from Spotify in protest of Rogan's podcast. While the story made headlines, the boycott didn't gain much traction, and Spotify stuck by Rogan, proving just how much his influence matters. So, how does Joe Rogan keep bouncing back? It's simple, he's real. He doesn't pretend to be perfect or say what people want to hear. Instead, he owns up to his mistakes and keeps fighting for open dialogue. That's what makes him stand out in an industry where most people are afraid to step out of line. Joe Rogan's story is proof that staying true to yourself, even when it's hard, can pay off. Whether you agree with him or not, his ability to challenge the status quo is undeniable. Alright, so we just talked about Joe Rogan, but he's not the only one who is taking a stand against woke culture. Up next, the one and only Jennifer Aniston, an American actress. Yeah, you heard right, the Queen of Friends, one of the highest paid actresses in Hollywood, and someone who's never been afraid to speak her mind. But lately, she's been making headlines for something other than her acting, calling out the effects of woke culture in entertainment. Now, we all know Jennifer as the lovable Rachel Green from Friends, a role that made her a household name and earned her a Primetime Emmy, a Golden Globe, and a Screen Actors Guild Award. But here's the thing. Hollywood has changed a lot since the 90s, and Jennifer isn't afraid to say it. So what's her issue with woke culture? Simple, it's killing comedy. In a recent interview with the Agence France-Presse, AFP, via Yahoo News, in Paris, Jennifer Aniston expressed concerns about the current state of comedy while promoting her film Murder Mystery 2 with Adam Sandler. She highlighted that heightened sensitivity has made it challenging for comedians to navigate their craft, stating, "Now it's a little tricky because you have to be very careful, which makes it really hard for comedians because the beauty of comedy is that we make fun of ourselves, make fun of life. And in the past," she continued, "you could joke about a bigot and have a laugh. That was hysterical. And it was about educating people on how ridiculous people were. And now we're not allowed to do that. And honestly, she's got a point." Aniston also reflected on how cultural perceptions have shifted since the 1990s, mentioning that younger audiences might find some content from that era offensive. His words, "There's a whole generation of people, kids, who are now going back to episodes of Friends and find them offensive," she said. "There were things that were never intentional and others. Well, we should have thought it through. But I don't think there was a sensitivity like there is now." But she also points out that we've gone too far. Are we really going to cancel every joke ever made? And Jennifer didn't stop there. She went on to defend some of the biggest names in comedy. Ricky Gervais, Dave Chappelle, you name it. She argued that comedy is supposed to make people think, even if it's uncomfortable, she said. "We can't lose our sense of humor just because we're afraid to offend someone. And let's be real, that's the kind of energy Hollywood needs right now." Of course, the internet had a lot to say. Some were excited, saying, "Finally, someone in Hollywood gets it." Others didn't agree. But one thing is clear, Jennifer's words hit a nerve. After her comments, social media blew up, with posts like, "Finally, a celeb who isn't afraid to tell the truth." But not everyone was thrilled. Some critics called Herb out of touch and accused her of defending offensive humor. Did she back down? Nope. Jennifer doubled down, saying Hollywood needs to find a balance. Her take: "We can be respectful without silencing every voice that dares to be different." So what does this all mean? Well, Jennifer Aniston isn't just another Hollywood star playing it safe. She's standing up for creativity, free speech, and comedy at a time when a lot of people are afraid to. And whether you agree with her or not, one thing's for sure. She's got people talking.
If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And don't forget to subscribe with the bell on so you don't miss out on the next one. Trust me, it's a good one.